When we talk about Proverbs 31, this is the bit that people know when you say, oh, Proverbs 31. They're not going to be like, oh, yes, King Lemuel. Yep, him's the one. They're talking about the Proverbs 31 woman. There are numerous book studies and just different things that talk specifically about the Proverbs 31 woman. An excellent wife who can find. She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he has no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life, and she seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it's yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hand to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hand to the needy. She's not afraid of snow, for all of her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing. She laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well at the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. This is that woman. This is that woman that as young girls, when you're growing up, people are like, this is who you want to be. This is her. This is it right here. This is an excellent wife. An excellent wife who can find. She is far more precious than jewels. That's in verse 10. This is saying that this ideal wife, this ideal woman, she is so precious that even gems and all of the gems in the world, they don't hold to who she is. She is more than they are. And it says, as it continues, it talks about her husband. It says, the heart of her husband trusts in her, and he has no lack of gain. Her husband, he trusts her. He knows that what she is doing is for him and for their family. Because he has this trust in his wife and in this woman, he is able to go out and do the things that he needs to do to succeed. Because she is here and she's taking care of the other things. All she does is to see her husband succeed. That is her spot, and her what she does. Everything is to see that he does really, really well. For like a husband and a wife situation nowadays, that would be like along the lines of your husband wants to try something new. He wants to start a podcast, and you feel apprehensive about it. You're like, well, this could be either really good or really bad. And so you start with you say, you know what? Do it. Go for it. And then you do what you can to encourage, to help, to make him know that you believe in him, that you know that he's going to succeed. Because that's the kind of, it's like a platform for our husbands. It's a platform for them to stand upon and to know that we are there. Succeed or fail. In 13 through 16, you see that the woman, she works. That she works with wool and with flax and with different kinds of textiles. But the important part here, and the part that a lot of women miss, is right here at the end of verse 13. It says, she works with willing hands. This part of this sentence where it says she works with willing hands, when it's saying that she's doing this willingly, it's not a forced thing. She's not doing this because she's like, oh, well, that's my job. Gotta do it. Or she's not like, I can't believe I have to do this. I wish he would just do more. I wish this. That's not what this is saying. What this is saying is that she does it willingly. She does this with an open heart. She does this with a kind smile. She does this because this is her way of showing and serving. She does this because she wants to. She wants to be that setting, that foundation for her husband. She wants to be that piece that holds him up. She wants to show that she is there. She's not forced to do this. She's not complaining. She's not grumbling. This is with a kind and willing heart that she is serving and doing this. And she's not just serving her husband. She's serving her entire household, and not just her own kids and her mother and her parents. That's not it. It says her maidens. That means that the people who live in her home, the handmaidens, the servants, the slaves, all of that, she's providing for them. And then she uses the goods that she has to help those who need the help. She does it for the needy and for the poor. And she is very open with her giving and what she can do. A really good way to think about this is she's showing love. Love is not something that is a forced give. We don't have to give love. We don't have to show kindness and love. She's doing this. This is her act of service. This is her way of showing her love to her family, to her husband, and to her community. As we get into, 17 through 24, it talks about how not only does she help with the household, all of those things that she's doing, it's not just for her family. A lot of the times they would make things and it would, if it wasn't a big production, it was for their families. They bought the things, they made the things for their families. But she works hard to help bring money in to her household. She sells her goods so that there's more that her family has, so that there's more that she can give. When we get to verse 23, there's this random little blurb in here where you kind of wonder, here we are talking about this woman and this ideal woman and all of the things that she does. And then here we go, right in here. Her husband is known in the gates as he sits among the elders of the land. Okay. The gates were the center of civic and economic life in an Israelite city. The leading men gathered here. He gets to be in this place of honor, not just because of things that he's done, but because the people in the city and the elders of the city have seen his wife, and they've seen her character, and they've seen the things that she has done. And because of that, he gets to be in this place of honor. He's not a guy running around whose wife does nothing. She doesn't sit and do nothing. She's not the wife who is greedy with the money. No. She has a light hand. She is kind and loving and considerate of others. And because of that, the elders in the city have seen that, and they have seen him. Verses 25 through 31. they talk about her. They talk about her deeds, her kindness, and how she has worked. And her wisdom. People come to her and she teaches with wisdom and she teaches with kindness. She does not have a sharp tongue. And it says that she is praised. Here in verse 30, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. Being charming and using your womanly wiles or doing all of that, it's like, that's not a thing that means beauty is vain. Beauty goes away. Beauty dies. Age happens. It goes away. It's not forever. Saying right here, but a woman who fears the Lord, she is to be praised. A woman who follows the Lord, a woman who goes out of her way to show God's love and to have him be a part of their life and to just share who he is with everybody. She is to be praised. She is to be held in a place of respect, in a place of honor. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. We're at those gates again. The gates where the elders of the land talk. The gates where the people in the city, where all the economic and the civic, everything happens. People talk about her there. And it's not a boastful, it's not a like conceited, oh, I am so good. We all have that woman in our life or that person in our life, specifically in this is a woman who, they're genuine, they're kind. When they speak to you, when you speak to them, it's wisdom and it's kindness, it's love. And that is to be praised because that is showing God's love to us. Girls, what kind of woman do you want to be? Do you want to be this woman from the beginning of Proverbs we heard last time, who is a destroyer of kings? Is that who we want to be? Or do we want to be this woman who fears the Lord and shares who he is to all around? Young men, what kind of woman do you want? The destroyer of kings? The one who tears you down? The one who rips apart who you are and what you believe? Or do you want the woman who fears the Lord? The one who is your foundation, the one who is your pillar, the one who builds you up, the one who praises God in all and everything they do. Thank you for giving me a chance. But I had a good time. Then we'll see what happens. Goodbye.